Good morning. I am so glad to be here this morning to celebrate and uplift fair housing in Montgomery County. April is Fair Housing Month, and we have come to show not only the fact that we are supportive of Fair Housing Month, but also show solidarity in those of us who are involved in both housing providing in this community, as those of us who are providing enforcement activities when fair housing compliance does not happen in our county. And so I'm very pleased to have us start this morning with our county executive, Mark Eldridge, who will bring remarks, after which Council President Evan Glass will follow up, and then an opportunity then to hear from some of the members of our advocate community. Thank you so much. Mark Eldridge.
Yeah, thank you. April's Fair Housing Month, and it's a time we've set aside to celebrate and bring awareness to our community and to the nation about the important message of fair and affordable housing for all. In 1968, 55 years ago, this nation faced a tumult of hatred and violence in the wake of the murder of Dr. Martin Luther King on April 4th. And on April 11th, President Johnson, having ushered it through Congress, signed the important history-making measure into law. The theme this year is Choices for All Voices, Building an Equitable Future. This theme connects directly to our ongoing commitment to provide affordable housing opportunities for all residents and our stated commitment to racial equity in every aspect of community life in our county. I personally feel strongly about this. It's important that all residents be able to live in a community and find housing they can afford and have the options that they need. I've submitted to the County Council increased resources within our 2024 budget to continue to provide meaningful pathways to housing and home ownership for our residents. And I want to emphasize we are making an extra effort as we move forward with affordable housing to make sure that ownership is once and for all a permanent part of our affordable housing efforts. This commitment continues in our fair housing enforcement. In Montgomery County, we believe we have one of the most progressive housing laws in the country. Our law protects everyone who buys or rents a home from discrimination because of their age, race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, sexual orientation, source of income, gender identity, marital status, or familial status, and most recently, their criminal history. This protection extends into transactions involving commercial real estate as well. Fair housing is more than a budget item. It's a policy or a law. It's also about equal access to jobs, safe neighborhoods, good schools, and reliable transportation. And it's basic to our daily lives. I want to thank Director of the Office of Human Rights, Jim Stowe, and his team, Montgomery County Human Rights Commission, the Interagency Fair Housing Coordinating Group, and the MC Department of Housing and Community Affairs, Montgomery County branch of the NAACP, Montgomery County Housing Opportunities Commission, the Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors, and National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and others who are involved in fair housing enforcement efforts and activities. This is all important that we're engaged in this together. And I especially want to acknowledge the realtors because we know, in the beginning of this, the realtors were often on the remaining obstacle to fair housing. And I will say the realtors in Montgomery County have become champions of fair housing and have helped lead the way in adopting policies and making sure practices in the real estate community enforce and encourage fair housing. And just want to acknowledge the progress that's been made there especially. Montgomery County is home to more than 1 million people with diverse backgrounds and economic standing. We know we've got 4 of the most integrated, diverse communities in the nation, just here in Montgomery County alone. While we are all different and we have many diverse backgrounds and economic standing, we all share the need for shelter and a safe place to call home. That is the mission that all of us share from Montgomery County, and I look forward to the fact that we're able to celebrate this year and continue working together to make sure it's a reality for all Montgomery County residents who live here now and for people who will be seeking to live here in the future. So thank you, Jim, for putting this together.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. County Executive, and thank you to all of our partners who are doing this important work. And as we celebrate the Fair Housing Law and the 55 years that it has been in existence, we have to be introspective and recognize how far we have come, not only as a nation but as a community, to make sure that everybody truly is welcome to live here in Montgomery County. And the county executive noted the tumultuous history, not only here in Montgomery County, but I want to add to that and say we only have to go back to the last century, that in 1902, the Silver Spring area enacted more than 50 racial restrictive covenants that prohibited owning or renting any part of a dwelling unit to individuals who were black, to individuals who were Jewish, to individuals who were not white, non-Christian. And we have made tremendous strides here in Montgomery County to ensure that everybody is welcome here, that everybody can live in our beautifully diverse community, and that's why so many of us choose to live here. And moving forward, there's a lot more that we have to continue doing, because many of the walls and many of the laws that were enacted have residual effects. We need to make sure that we look at our zoning, that we look at our housing, we look at the types of homes that are being built, and ensure that they are accessible to everybody. That is the challenge of this moment, and I look forward to working with everybody to ensure that we meet that challenge moving forward. Reverend Stowe.
At this time, we will have then a reading of the proclamation, after which we'll have then comments from, again, those of us who are partners in this great effort here in Montgomery County. So again, Mark, if you will, County Executive, and also again, Evan Glass, our Council President, the proclamation, if you will.
So we're advanced today. We've got two copies. So we'll not be leaning over to try to read this. Okay, whereas this marks the 55th anniversary of the Federal Fair Housing Law, which was passed in 1968 to eliminate discriminatory housing practices, and
whereas Montgomery County has long been a leader in its commitment to ensuring equal opportunity for all, and in its efforts to provide public awareness, training, and enforcement of fair housing practices to those in the industry and county residents, and
whereas residents and housing professionals across Montgomery County are encouraged to participate in activities which further fair housing awareness, and
whereas the national theme is fair housing, choices for all voices, innovative education and outreach to build an equitable future, and we are encouraging educational programs and other similar efforts aimed at ensuring that everyone has access and there are no barriers to fair housing practices in Montgomery County, Maryland, and
whereas Montgomery County Office of Human Rights and the Interagency Fair Housing Coordinating Group have the responsibility and authority to remove barriers to housing choices, investigate complaints about housing discrimination, and foster a climate of fair and equal access to housing options in the county for all residents. Now therefore be it resolved, Mark Elrich as County Executive and Evan Glass as Council President of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby proclaim the 55th anniversary celebration of the Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968 in Montgomery County, Maryland, signed this day, the 5th of April, 2023. And Jim?
There you go.
Thank you very much.
you want it? I don't.
I can't hold it. You want to hold
There
it?
we go.
Okay.
We can do a picture later.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if you want to hold it all this time. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It was the moment.
Now remarks from some of our partners. We'll start with Janice Freeman.
Good morning. My name is Janice Freeman. I am a commissioner of the Housing Rights Commission. I am also, since we talked about realtors, I am a real estate broker here in Montgomery County. I'm the president of the African American Chamber of Commerce, and I'll stop there. I am so pleased to be here, and thank you very much for the proclamation. I just have a few words. As we just said, the 55th anniversary of Fair Housing Law has been passed and was passed in 1968 to eliminate discrimination housing practices. As we know, Montgomery County has been a leader in this commitment to ensure equal opportunity for all. We provide public awareness, training, and enforcement for all fair housing practices. Each year, the commission, the Human Rights Commission, offers a housing summit. That housing summit provides a focus on the law and needs of Montgomery County. Some of the things that we do, we have a fair housing interagency group. We are currently providing a study for the Community Reinvestment Act. And that act is very important because that is a law that's in place, and all banks in Montgomery County and other counties do not follow through with what they should do. But the Human Rights Commission in Montgomery County is looking for the way to make a change in that area. We also have, I will say that I'm involved with, we call it the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, which is the GCAR, and that's the Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors. This has been, I think, in place for maybe 2 or 3 years. What that is all about, mission-wise, there is no room for discrimination. That's basically what it's all about. And there are lots of things that that committee is doing to make things sure that we make sure that we bring about a change. The other thing I want to mention is that on April 14th, we will have a fair housing fair. And that fair housing fair will focus on a number of things, but I will point out affordable housing, and we will see how we might be able to address some of the things that will close the gap in Montgomery County. As you all know, or you may know, the black community is at the bottom of the area for housing. We'd like to see what we can do to make a change so that we can increase housing for the black community. And I think that one thing that I will do now is to say that we're so pleased to be able to present to you today, and I thank you.
Good morning. My name is Cherie Branson. I'm the third vice president for the Montgomery County NAACP. First of all, I want to take a moment to remember Ruby Rubens, who was a housing advocate for decades in this county. Ms. Rubens came to this county, tried to move here, was so frustrated by the housing discrimination that she encountered that she actually then became a real estate agent to fight from the ground up. She was a lifelong member of the NAACP, and so many of the changes that we look at in this county, that we applaud in this county, are because of Ruby Rubens. And I just want to take a moment to give honor to her. Secondly, yes, this county has a long history of redlining, of racial discrimination, of racial covenants. We shouldn't forget that. Yes, we have moved forward. No, the work is not done. We continue today to have discrimination in appraisals, especially in black neighborhoods. According to the Brookings Institute, all over the nation, black wealth is lost to the tune of $156 million a year because of discrimination in appraisals. That really must stop. Our ability to, the black community's ability in this county and throughout the nation to actually move to a place where fair housing is a day-to-day reality does depend on the elimination of racial discrimination, but it also depends on the elimination of other artificial barriers that keep us out of housing. It also depends on the housing policies that stop displacement and gentrification, and housing policies that encourage ownership. I am here to applaud how far we have come and to acknowledge how far we have yet to go. Thank you.
My name is Avi Adler, and I'm the 2023 president of the Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors. And I want to thank the county executive and the council president for celebrating this very important anniversary today and for this proclamation. Realtors like myself not only take fair housing seriously, but we reaffirm our commitment to it through continuing education and promoting fair housing policies. Montgomery County has served as a leader in fair housing policies, and we applaud them for that. At GCAR, we promote actively continuing education surrounding fair housing, and I'm very proud to say that, as you referenced, in the last couple of years, that we created a diversity, equity, inclusion, not only a program, but a diversity, equity, inclusion champions program where we now require all of our board members and our committee members to complete. We at GCAR really, are not comfortable kind of, just walking the walk. I mean, we want to set an example on a local and national level on to everybody on how fair housing should be handled and how important it is. 26 states in our country approximately do not require fair housing as far as their continuing education, which is kind of a shocking figure. We've taken the example, and we're trying to set ourselves up as leaders, an example for other associations around the country on what can be done and the changes that should be made and can be made, and we're very proud of that. So I want to thank the council president and the entire council today for their support, and for making this a priority in Montgomery County. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Nichelle McDuffie-Hagans, and I'm the president of the Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors, which is the 111th local board of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We are now celebrating NAREB, the 75th anniversary of being in existence. I also wanted to just share with you who I am. I am the president and founder of GMAR, and also I'm a real estate broker. And I am a member of GCAR and a diversity and inclusion champion as well. GMAR has a space here, and we are so excited to collaborate with GCAR. We've started in our initial phases of identifying how we can partner with GCAR to make sure that we address the disparities in not only serving our communities, but also as a profession. I'm very pleased to have here along with me our Vice President, who is Ron Wright, and we are very excited about moving forward with identifying how we can break down these barriers. GMAR really is excited about breaking into the commercial and developing space of the real estate industry as well. And so we have all of these people here that we're excited to begin that relationship. And I also want to thank, of course, our Human Rights Montgomery County Director, Mr. Jim Stowe, for this opportunity. And we are very, very much eager to get started. And you will see a lot of us in the upcoming future. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being partners in this great work, this great task. I have to say this with Nichelle being here on behalf of, again, NAREB. At one point in time, black real estate persons could not join the National Association of Realtors. That's why you have, in fact, a National Association of, again, realtists who are part of the process. And so all this is an evolving process. And so I'm so glad that we're bringing the whole realm of our actual advocacy from the standpoint of those who are providing housing services, those who are, in fact, in the rental and sale of housing, and those of us who are the enforcement end as well, working together to ensure then that Montgomery County is free of housing discrimination. We've got a long ways to go, mind you. So out there, if you in fact feel like, it smells like, that you're being discriminated against and you're seeking rental of an apartment or a townhouse, as it may be, or trying to buy or purchase a home out there, please call our office, the Office of Human Rights, and just say that I think that I'm experiencing a discriminatory act. Here's what happened. We'll listen to that and try to figure out whether or not that in fact is occurring. Because here in Montgomery County, we are trying our very, very best to be a place that not only is free of discrimination, but in fact we welcome and we in fact celebrate our diversity here in this great community. Remember our theme for this year. Again, choices for all voices. Innovative education outreach to build an equitable future for all of us. We thank you. Fair Housing Month is for all of us. Let's all of us participate and make this the best community in America to live and to work and to be a part of its ever-evolving future and success. Thank you.